Hello guys, and welcome to this Unit 4 of the Sociology and Anthropology of Education course. In this unit we are going to discuss about critical education studies. We are going to talk about the different manifestations that started in the late 20th centuries and the critical movements and studies that started generating in the educational systems and studies during this time of period. So we are going to talk about pedagogy of oppressed and some of the main concepts introduced by education theorists and pedagogists that started some revolutions and changes in educational models by those times. So first of all, we have to know the 60s and 70s of the 28th century were a period of significant changes in different social areas, and this was a period of many social movements, changes, transformations in different social manifestation and spaces. There were some important figures, especially in Latin America, that created liberation and resistance movements in different countries of the region, for example in Mexico, Peru, Colombia, and Brazil. And there was a prominent figure who was Paulo Freire, who wrote about liberation theory, liberation education, and proposed the concept of the pedagogy of the oppressed. So we have to understand this was a period of significant pugnacity and belligerence because it was the context of the Cold War, this confrontational period that followed the Second World War. And so this was a period of conflict in which some of the social theories of the epoch started talking about post-colonial studies. So they discussed how education supported the interests of the state and of the elites, the interests of the financial corporations, and they started to demand some changes in the educational systems. So schools were viewed as a mechanism, as a means for social domination, and they wanted to transform that situation of oppression that some of the factions of the population lived by that time. So they fought poverty, inequality, social differentiation, classism, racism, and they denounced all those phenomena occurring in the school context. This is important for us to understand and study this social, political, and cultural process because it will allow us to understand the social movements that emerged in the late decades of the 20th century, and that will help us to better comprehend why they started questioning education systems as systems of oppression, as systems that allowed and contributed to social domination and differentiation. Many of these Marxist ideas and of those Marxist thinkers proposed significant changes. Liberation education was one of the main proposals for some of the education theorists and pedagogists from that time of period. So in this unit we are going to study all of these changes. We are going to comprehend the importance of those discussions in society and how the fight, the social consciousness, those post-colonial and the colonial thinkers provoked around societies. This is just to say education can transform social structures, and education can be as well a means for social transformation. That was the preoccupation of Paulo Freire, Aníbal Quijano, and other theorists, for example in Colombia, Orlando Fals Borda, who proposed significant changes and innovations in our educational systems so that we could have a modern school, a modern education that will help us to advance and progress the nation, because they started talking about underdevelopment in the third world, in the so-called third world. So that was important for us to decolonize educational structures and to propose school practices and pedagogical methods that will help to the liberation of the oppressed.